The Cardinals' rushing attack paved the way to a 58-17 victory over the Vikings of North Park University on Saturday. They head to Carthage College this weekend for a showdown with the Redmen before returning home for 2 straight games against ranked opponents. We take a look at the win and the tough schedule ahead right now on the Red Zone. Welcome to the Red Zone. I'm Mark Dahlquist. With me to start things off is head coach for the Cardinals, John Thorne. Coach, thanks for coming in.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm sure it was a pleasure on Saturday when the Cardinals came away with a big victory against North Park with the rushing game just dominating.
It was one of the most enjoyable North Park games we've had, over the 11 years. Mm-hmm. I don't like those games that get out of hand and everything, but both teams made some really nice plays, and so it was really a fun atmosphere. And it was. But the offensive line, they were blocking some people, and the tight ends and the running backs made some very great cuts. I mean, every single running back, I think there were 6 of them there that day, had at least one 12-yard carry. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen too often.
No. And your top 3 running backs rushing for over 10 yards per carry. The offensive line, as you said, blocking really well, but it seems like we haven't even seen the peak yet for this offensive line unit because they've been sort of shuffled around early in the season.
Well, that's what we're the most excited about. We aren't peaking yet. Each week we're still getting a little bit better on both offense and defense. But we have so many players that missed lots of practices because of concussions or other kinds of injuries or family emergencies and so forth. So they're still gradually getting better and better and better, And some of the transfer guys, of course, it's really hard to learn a new offense, new defense that's as complex as ours. So they're getting closer and closer and closer to being ready to make some big plays for us. So we're pretty excited and hope that we're going to keep improving and hit a peak, right here at the end when you need it the most.
Well, every player seemed ready to play on Saturday as the Cardinals ran away with the win at North Park University. Let's go to the highlight. Cardinal defense hoping to slow the Viking rushing attack led by John Williams as they invade North Park University. Cardinals on their second drive looking to get the run game going, and Nick Kukoc does just that, as the only one that can take him down at the end of this 35-yard run is the cheerleader, North Central in business. Ryan Kent will put this drive in the books from 1 yard out. The touchdown gives the Cardinals a 7-0 lead early in the first. Defense does work again, and the Vikings are forced to punt, but the snap goes high and into the end zone for a safety. Cardinals get 2 more points for a 9-0 lead. Next drive, Stanek decides to go to the air as he fires down the middle and finds Ryan Sidarsky for a 28-yard grab. Then the very next play, same combo, same result, as Sidarsky gets another 20 yards. That sets up Nick Kukoc, who takes it right up the gut for a 9-yard score and a 16-0 Cardinal lead. And it doesn't take long for Jordan Tassio to find the end zone as he hurdles his way for a 12-yard touchdown and a 23-0 Cardinal lead. Cardinals would add to that lead as Jordan Tassio takes the handoff and goes 56 yards to the house. Second time in 3 weeks he takes one in from 50 yards or longer, and the Cardinals lead 29-3. The Cardinals put this one out of reach before the break as A.J. Thomas takes a 20-yard pass from Stanek to the house, his first touchdown as a Cardinal, as North Central rolls to a 58-17 win. So, Coach, we talked about the rushing attack. The 474 rushing yards was the 3rd highest in team history and the most since 1991. That says a lot about the way you guys have been able to pound the ground lately.
That's a good number. I didn't realize those stats, but thanks for sharing them with us.
That's what my job is here.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that. But the guys are really, we're working more on the sled. Our backs are getting flatter. Mm-hmm. Our feet are getting flatter so that we're getting all the cleats into the turf, and so it just keeps improving, but it's not there yet.
Right.
We still had guys that were running free, and a lot of the running backs made some great moves to make those guys miss,
right,
to also help their offensive line buddies who were trying to help them. So we can get a lot better, but it was a fun day, and I'm glad that boys came close to breaking the record.
Well, hopefully they'll get it soon enough this year. But North Park's rushing game was a little bit more complex of a unit than you guys have seen most games in the past, because they like to run the option a lot. So really, when they snap the ball, it could go to 3 or 4 different guys on the ground.
Well, absolutely, Mark. And they have some very nice blocking schemes. They're completely different than what they've done in years past. They've really made some great progress with that offense, and they got some nice runs, especially to the outside.
But one thing about the atmosphere was it was really wet and rainy, and that first drive for the Cardinals, you guys lost the ball. Was there a little bit of maybe worrying that we could have a little deja vu from that first game when it was raining?
Yeah, we didn't want to try to redo all of the lacrosse game, but I'll have to say the player from North Park made a fabulous effort there. He came right to where the football was. He was the second guy in, threw his arm in there, and he really yanked it hard. You know, it was very, very good technique on his part. I think he's been watching Peanut Tillman a lot on Sundays or something, but he made a great play.
Well, there were definitely a lot of great plays on Saturday. Don't go anywhere, because we continue to break down the Cardinals with Coach Thorne right after this.
Yes, ready.
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Welcome back to the Red Zone. With us still is head coach for the Cardinals, John Thorne. Coach, so we've been talking about the running game a lot. You guys didn't really have to do a lot in the passing game, only 14 attempts, but Spencer Stanek able to complete 9 of those, and most importantly, no interceptions, so you guys were really able to take care of the ball after that first fumble.
Well, and I think the linemen kept him real clean too, which always helps. We still had a few drops, but it was kind of a rainy, nasty day, part of the first half of the game. So he would have had actually 13 out of 14 were put where we could have caught them, you know. So he had a really accurate day, I thought. And we're going to need that as we go into these final 4. I mean, we got 4 pretty good teams left to play.
You definitely do. But on Saturday, the Cardinals were able to get a couple turnovers themselves on defense. You got to like that when they're not only intercepting the ball, but Nick Slezak forcing the fumble. Connor Douglas, who we'll talk with a little later, was able to scoop that up. So the Cardinals are really going after it on D.
Well, we thought it was going to be a replay of last year, because Connor scooped one up last year and ran it in for a touchdown, but he just couldn't quite stay on his feet, you know. And so it was a great play, though, on both his part and Nick's. And the interception late in the game was a real nice one by Matt Subinasing, and he looked pretty athletic making that one.
You know, and onto the special teams. The kickoff return wasn't what you'd like it to be, but you got to be pleased with your punt return, the way they performed, and especially the California kid, Juliano Fuentes, returning a 65-yarder to the house.
You know, he came here as more of a kick-off return guy than a punt return guy, and so he didn't have a lot of confidence on catching punts. And so finally I just said, I'm going to stick him back there, you know, and let's he really, that was impressive. And that could really help us, because we were flirting with danger to have Josh back there and then Shane as his backup. I mean, we just can't afford either one of those two to, you know, tweak an ankle or get a serious injury doing special teams thing.
Right.
We need them so much on defense. And so Lano could be a a guy that we can put back there quite often now, especially the way he ran that one. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice to see other guys step up, and he's not the only Cardinal that's from out of state. This year's squad is made up of Cardinals from all across the country, and we take a look at how they chose North Central College in this week's Cardinal Corner.
With the Cardinals in the midst of a 3-game road stretch, the whole team will be happy when they finally return home to Benedetti Worley Stadium against Illinois Wesleyan on October 27th. But thanks to technology, Cardinal coaches have been able to expand their recruiting to players whose first home is hundreds of miles from the North Central campus.
I just sent my recruiting tape out to a lot of schools, and North Central contacted me, and they were kind of the most interesting.
Just looking at the record over the last few years, only losing 5 games in 5 years, and looked like a really good program.
I think it was the amount of time they put in recruiting me. Coach Ponce recruited me, and even though I was out of state, he spent a lot of time and effort trying to get me here, made me feel welcome on my visits.
And it's not just the coaches that make new recruits feel welcome, as veteran players show the newcomers early on what type of atmosphere they can expect.
It's a real tight-knit family, good camaraderie between the older guys. They take all the young guys underneath their wings.
They always come over and to the freshman dorm, hang out with us, treat us like family. That's the main point, is we're a family here.
The guys were accepting and open, and they want you to be here, and that's something that doesn't really happen all across the nation.
The Cardinals are trying to set their program apart even more, and there is one word that every out-of-state recruit said would help them accomplish that.
Winning, pretty much. The facilities too. We got a great stadium, brand new turf, lifting facilities, res rec, indoor track. Just a lot of things sports-wise that are bringing a lot of kids here.
That's what you play for. A lot of guys will tell you that winning isn't everything, and how I was brought up, it is. And I came here to get a ring and win a conference title and hopefully win a national championship in the 4 years I'm here.
And though many say winning isn't easy, it was even harder for some recruits to get used to their new environment hundreds of miles from home.
I've never seen snow. I've never been in weather under 50 degrees. And mid-August, it was 30 degrees outside, and that was a big difference for me, because I've never experienced nothing like that.
It's been awesome, just learning different things. I didn't know trees change colors and stuff like that.
It's flat. So yeah, it's flat. There's no mountains.
I miss my family and everything, but the mountains are always beautiful. They told me where West was, and I have no idea where I am now.
But the whole team knows where they are, in the middle of a push for a 7th straight conference title.
So, Coach, why do you think it's important for you guys to sort of expand your recruiting from outside the state of Illinois to various parts of the country?
Well, it's a little easier to do now with all the YouTube and the Huddle film, so you can actually see something before you try and engage in talking to them. One time, first year I got here, I was trying to recruit a young man out of Indiana, and he got him to come for a visit and everything. He had blue hair, and he really wasn't a football player. By far, the majority of our team and our starters are all from Illinois, but we do have a few really good out-of-state guys that are making an impact for us, and we're happy they're here.
Well, you can't knock the blue hair, because you had a couple Cardinals last year dye their hair red, so it doesn't mean they're not football players.
That's right, but it sort of caught me off guard.
Well, and speaking of red, you guys got the Redmen this weekend as you guys head to Carthage. They've given up over 170 rushing yards per game, so can we expect to see another ground attack, especially with the wind coming off the lake at Lake Michigan?
That's a great question, Mark, because you never know about the wind up there. We are so close to the lake. Definitely, if it's an afternoon game, it's going to be windy. Playing this year, we're playing in the evening. That's going to help us a lot. We're hoping the wind will die down a little, make the kicking game a little bit simpler, and we'll start with the run, but we'll also have some great pass opportunities before the day's over, we hope.
Well, we look forward to seeing you guys take down the Redmen on Saturday. Best of luck, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
Keep it right here, because after the break, we'll sit down with 2 Cardinals that led the team to its 19th straight CCIW win. Don't go away.